Okay, good evening, everyone. This is our Pushing Lovely Google Plus Hangout on sponsored content hosted by our own Brandy Jeter. And I'm just going to ask that everyone mute their microphones if you're not asking a question so that we don't interrupt or disturb Brandy while she's giving us this presentation that we all have been looking forward to anxiously. So without further ado, Brandy Jeter, yay!
Hey guys, thank you so much for spending your evening with me. So we've been talking a lot in our group about sponsored content and pricing and things like that. And I know that everybody kind of has their own idea about what they're going to ask for, but I just wanted to give kind of a skeleton to the idea of pricing just in case you're not sure where to even start. So I have a brief presentation, and then the second part of the Hangout will really be more about specific questions that you might have. So I'm going to share my screen and get started. All right, what are you worth? I'm hoping that I can do the screen. Well, it looks like you guys are gonna, yeah. All right, so what are you worth? Pricing and sponsored post. Before we begin, I wanted to just share the difference between sponsored posts and reviews. I think a lot of people are confused about that. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I think a lot of people are confused about it, and so I just wanted to clear it up so that we know where we're going, where we're starting. All right. So sponsored post. With a sponsored post, the blogger is paid to create content. The brand may determine specific objectives. There's a deadline and style obligation, and the blogger content may be owned by the brand. So let's just break that down a little bit. Blogger is paid to create content, and there may be specific objectives. So for an example with blog networks, when you sign up to do a sponsored post for Kraft or Nestle or Payless or whoever you're doing a sponsored post for, definitely want you to be authentic and genuine, but it's not the time for honesty in the sense of I did not like this product. The brand is paying you specifically to either drive sales, to lead people to their websites, but what they want, they're not going to pay for negative information. So if you are being paid to create content and the brand asks you to write about the benefits of using of adding fiber to black water or whatever, then you need to write positively. If you're not able to write something that's positive, then you definitely want to reach out to the brand before you post to see if they want you to post anyway. They may not want you to if it's a product that you determined isn't going to work for you. But that's with the sponsored post. And then with a review, Blogger is not paid to create content. There is a lot of debate about that, but ethically, if you're being asked to give your honest opinion about something, it's not unbiased if you're being paid for it. I mean, you can still say, no, I'm going to give my honest opinion, and maybe you will, but your thoughts are still going to be kind of tainted, at least from the public's view, if you're being paid for it. With a review, the brand cannot dictate what you write about the product. Honest opinions, good and bad, are expected. A blogger should receive actual product in order to facilitate reviews. So, just sending you a picture of a pair of shoes is not going to be good. And the blogger is under no obligation to create content about the product. So, I mean, if you get a vacuum cleaner for review, then at that point, because of the level of the price level, then you could kind of think of that as a sponsored post. But if you're getting a box of cereal or 2 bags of pasta or something like that, that would be a review. So I mean, it seems a little tricky to try to determine what's a review and what's not, but I think if you just base it off of how much things cost, that'll help you a little bit. All right, so what's involved with a sponsored post? So working with bloggers a lot, I often find that not often, but sometimes some bloggers skip one of these things, and really all of these things are absolutely necessary, well, except for video, but I'll tell you about that. All of these things are absolutely necessary whenever you're doing a post. a good sponsored post. There's the writing, of course, the content that you're going to create. There's photographs. You're going to take pictures, your own pictures of the product. Video sometimes. Editing, regardless of whether you're writing or you're doing a video or you're taking photographs, you should be editing. Never, ever, ever should a photo go on your blog for a sponsored post unless it goes through PicMonkey or some sort of photo editing program. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. Editing, syndication, that's going to be putting it out on your social networks, sharing with people. I mean, you're being hired because you're an influencer, and the brand recognizes the scope of your reach, and they're paying you for that, and you get paid more the more influence you have. So you definitely want to make sure you're syndicating. And then the reporting, whether that's adding links into a document or, you know, report to the client that you're working with about how things went, letting them know how many clicks you had, whatever. That's still a part of it. So when you're thinking about your pricing, you want to take all of that into consideration. I find that bloggers often forget about the reporting piece, and so they end up spending another hour or so doing a final update to the client, and they're not being compensated for that. Okay, so who do you pitch to? You could pitch to the PR company. You could pitch to the brand. I would say there's a lot of different people that you can pitch to. For a brand, the first thing I would suggest is that you go on LinkedIn and you can try to determine who exactly to send an email to. So sometimes it's going to be the person that's that's in their marketing department, and if it's of the brand, and if it's not, they can often let you know what PR company they're working with and give you a contact there. When you go to conferences and you get information from PR reps and you get their cards, send them an email reminding them who you are, thanking them for, whatever, and then asking, what other campaigns are you working on? I'd love for you to keep me in mind for X, Y, and Z. And of course, as Sarah will tell you, when you get an email, sometimes that's going to be the person that you absolutely pitch to, and sometimes it's not. It's just going to depend. But you should always, if you get a direct email from a PR person, even if you think it's a mass email going out to a bunch of people, even if they're not the person to pitch to, chances are they know the person that you should contact. And then key phrases that you just want to keep this in your little toolkit is, what is your budget for this project? Could you tell me more about compensation? And then if there is compensation that's offered and it's not suitable for you, you can definitely ask, is there room in the budget for, and then whatever it is. So even just today, I reached out to a blogger about a video opportunity. I talked about this in the group. This was a different blogger, and I asked her, it's $1,500, it's a 3-minute video, and she asked, is there room in the budget for an extra $250 because I want to hire a videographer because he does a much better job than me. And maybe there is, maybe there isn't, I'm not sure. But she did ask that, and if there is, great. If not, no problem. But you have to know what your level is and not be afraid to ask for that. Because even if there's not room in the budget for $250, then we know that we're getting her for the $1,500, and it's going to be an iPhone video, a fabulous iPhone video, because that's what she does, but an iPhone video nonetheless. All right, tools of the trade. These are things that before you pitch, you definitely want to make sure you have all of these things in place. You want to have a really great About Me page. And I'm going to show you, I talk about this one a lot because it's my absolute favorite. Do you guys see this from A Grand Life?
I love her page.
I love her page, yes.
Okay. Can you see? You guys can see it. Okay.
No, we can't see it.
I can't see it.
Okay, let me share my screen again with something else. I think it's this one. Okay. All right, so this is her About Me page. And so if she pitches someone, or if someone wants to pitch her, it's very obvious what she does. We know what she looks like. We can see what her kids look like. We know how old they are. We know that she has 2 boys. We can see her husband. You know, we can tell that, you know, he looks like a solid guy, even with her family facts, where they live. She doesn't have to say necessarily exactly where, but in the Philadelphia burbs. So if there's something in Philly or New Jersey, then they'll get it. Blog facts. She has her uniques right here on the front page. She has the Twitter followers, because we often have to click off the page to find out how many Twitter followers they have, how many Facebook fans, any notables. Those things are important, not necessarily as important as what she's doing right now. But the notables is helpful because it shows, you know, that she has been recognized for her work. We see what kind of things she likes. I mean, obviously, if I had a camera, you know, if I wanted to pitch a camera, I would feel confident doing that, knowing that she can work with Macs and she can work with PCs. I mean, we get everything that we need to know about her. And then right here, clear as day, is her email. Then when you go to her front page, you can see her icons right here. Let's connect. So these are all the ways that you can connect with her. I guess the only thing I would add is, in addition to this email thing right here, also just have your email written out somewhere on the front page. That makes it even more easier. My job, we have a web-based email system. So if I were to click on this, it wouldn't go to her email. It would open up some weird program that's asking me to sign up for something to send email from my Mac that's not set up. So, you know, just having your email on the front. But other than that, I mean, like, I can definitely see, you know, what she's doing based on her, who she is, her about. And she also has a separate contact page. So you can find out, you know, oh, this isn't working, that form isn't working, but, you know, there's a contact form. She has her email again. So on every page that you can, you want to have your email. And in addition to that, you want to have your media kit. So this is our lovely Sarah's media kit, and this is a one-pager that makes it easy for a brand to print out. So if she pitched me, I could send this to, you know, our marketing department and say, hey, this blogger wants us to send her to a conference. She has 19,000, she's tweeted 19,000 times. She has over 1,600 followers. You know, you can tell everything about her. You can tell about her uniques. You can tell about her blog topics. She does a lot of how-tos and things like that. You can see her PR, her Google PR rank. Everything is right here, so that if I needed to print this off to a money decision-making type person, I could do that. So you definitely want to have a media kit, and don't be concerned if your numbers aren't high. And I mean, I know sometimes it's like scary to actually put it down so that people can see it, but that's just one of the things that people look at whenever you're pitching them and trying to figure out whether or not you're a good fit for them. So I'm going to come back and share my other screen again. Let's see. All right, and so that's the tools of the trade. So let's get to the money stuff. Determining a price. So the first thing you want to think about is, how many hours will it take you to complete the project? And of course, you're going to take all of these things into consideration. How long does it take you to write? Does it take you 1 hour? How long does it take you to photograph? Does it take you an hour? Video, editing, syndication, reporting. And what I will say to this is, be absolutely honest. If you can write a blog post in 1 hour, I mean, you're the one making up the price. So don't say, it's going to take me 3 hours to write this 300-word post. If it's going to take you an hour, that's okay. Think about, what is your rate per hour? When I was working in nonprofit, my pay was $40,000 a year when I left Philadelphia. So I think that's maybe like $19 an hour. So you can say, if I were working in, I want to make about $40,000 a year. So, you know, my rate is $19 an hour. Or my rate is, I think a good base rate for bloggers just getting started out is between $15 and $20 an hour. If you have a little bit, even if it's 6 months behind you, you want to go from, you know, anywhere from $25 to $45 an hour and then up. Of course, this is all subjective based on, you know, your numbers and how much influence you have, and, you know, just kind of how much you engage your readers and things like that. All right, then you want to multiply your rate per the rate per hour by the number of hours that you're going to work. So, you know, $35 times, you know, 15 hours, or, you know, $50 times 10 hours. And then you can give that give your contact that final price without an hourly breakdown. So what I see bloggers do sometimes is say, well, I'm going to spend, you know, eight hours doing this, and you don't need to give them all that information. You just let them know what your rate is, and let them know, you know, this includes a video, syndication, and a final report. And, you know, if they have already bought your pitch, then they're definitely going to just trust that your video, you know, however long you need to take on your video, that's going to be on you. And I would say the same thing when it comes to, I'm going to come back to you guys for this. The same thing when it comes to pitching for like a blog conference sponsorship. A lot of times people give too much information about what the money is going to be used for. So if you want to be selected for if you want a sponsorship, you know, just pitch for $1,500 and say for that, and don't say, you know, my airline ticket costs this, and, you know, my hotel room costs this, because that's not the thing that the company is really paying for. What they're really going to be looking at paying for is, you know, what are you going to do when you're at the conference, or what are you going to do when you get back? So as you're pitching, just remember to make your pricing make it more friendly for them to justify to the yes people. So it's going to be, you know, it's difficult to say, hey, I want us to pay for this blogger's $500 airline ticket. But it's easy to say, all right, we're going to sponsor a blogger for the Blogalicious conference. She's going to tweet out, she's going to wear a t-shirt, she's going to write 6 blog posts, and she's going to do this. So just keep that in mind when you're, you know, when you're pitching, that you don't have to tell them what your work will entail. You just tell them what the value is for them. All right, let's go back to this. All right, so let's talk specifics. These are actual real bloggers that I know, that I have worked with, and that I've worked with in the past month. So blogger number 1 is a lifestyle blogger who's been blogging for about 5 years. She posts 5 to 7 times per week. She has 80,000 uniques per month, and she asks 500 plus for sponsored posts. So, you know, at my job, we pay $200 for a post in a Google Plus photo album. So she does not do those because that's just under her pricing range, and that's absolutely fine. I can say about her is I get emails from her blog in my mailbox every single day, and it's very consistent. I know, you know, when something comes up that's, you know, we need a special type of recipe blogger, or we need a fashion blogger that's a mom that also writes like, I know what her niche is, and I trust that she's absolutely professional. So if I get a bigger type project, I can go to her because I know she's very consistent and the work is going to be on par with what we want to pay $500 plus for. Blogger number 2 is a vlogger. She's been vlogging for 3 years. She makes only about 5 videos per month. On YouTube, she has 4,382 subscribers, and she has about she asks for $17.50 per video, and she gets it, and sometimes she gets more. So her blogs, when she goes to an event, she has her iPhone, she has a microphone with it, she has a special lens that she attaches to it, she has a stick that she uses. She always knows, oh, she has a little light that she attaches to it, and when you get her blogs, and she edits like a pro. So when you get her vlogs, the client kind of just, their mouths fall open and we look really good. So $17.50 is definitely worth it for her. And then blogger number 3 is a mom blogger. She's been blogging for 2 years. She does about 2 to 3 blog posts per week. She has 8,000 uniques per month, and she charges 100 plus for sponsored posts. So a $50 post she won't do. She won't do posts for you know, for product. She's very clear about the fact that, you know, for a 300-word sponsored post, she asks for $100. So those are just a few numbers that I wanted to share with you, just so you can have kind of an idea of what people are asking. Couple of things that I wanted to share with you guys in terms of how to help yourself kind of stand apart when you're asking for pricing. If you're doing sponsored posts already and you're ready to kind of step up to the next level, one of the things that I suggest that you do is, for your links in the post, like to the product or whatever, use a bit.ly link and keep track of it, so that you can say to your next client, you know, I wrote this sponsored post. You can send them a link and say, and, you know, link, and I was able to drive traffic to that client site because they had over, you know, 400 clicks from my site. You know, I had 37 retweets on day one. You know, I have whatever, but just so that you're able to, you know, prove that you're worth the money that you're asking for. I would also say, whatever you think your first price is, so if you say, you know what, I'm kind of just getting started, so I think I'm going to just ask for, you know, $50 per post. Well, ask for $75. So whatever you think you want to ask for first, you know, ask for more. The other thing is, if someone does pitch you and it's below your price, I wouldn't necessarily say you don't have to take it. If it's something that's interesting to you, you know, $25 for, you know, to just share about the circus or whatever, absolutely do that if it's of value to you. If you can write something, or even if they send you something and you just have to reword it a little bit and you spend 30 minutes on it and you make $25, that's still worth it. So I want to make sure that everyone knows, just because we're talking about pricing doesn't mean, you know, if you decide to take something that's lower priced, that it's going to diminish your worth, because it absolutely doesn't. You have to look at each opportunity as a different opportunity and determine what the value is for you. When I was a teaching artist, being as a contractor, you know, I would pitch and do, I would go into schools and do what we call residencies. So my residencies were $3,000 for a 2-month program, and I would go in twice a week and spend 2 hours with the classes. Well, I had some schools, due to like budget situations, where they couldn't pay that much. So what I would do is I would kind of switch it up a little bit. Okay, you can pay $1,500. Well, what I can do is I can come in once per week, and, you know, I won't do the full 8 weeks, or I'll only meet with, you know, 2 classes instead of 3, or whatever. So you can always make changes to what you're offering to make it worth the time and money for you. Maybe instead of, if it's a sponsored post and they're asking $100, you know, you definitely want to do the syndication. That's where you can't let go of. And editing, you definitely can't let go of. But, you know, you can say, instead of writing a, you know, 3-part series, you can write one 500-word post with 2 pictures. So, you know, just determine your pricing based on how much time you have to spend. And if they offer you a price that's below what your normal asking rate is, look at how you can repackage what you have to take less time, so that you can still take that client on if it's something that you're willing to do. And I think sometimes that's where bloggers kind of have a tough time, because, you know, we absolutely want to do our best work every single time. But if you're being paid $100 and you're going to provide a 3-minute video and a 500-word, you know, photo essay, plus the syndication, plus the, you know, reporting, plus a Twitter party and all that kind of stuff, it's just too much, and you're not obligated to do all of that. So that's my presentation. Perfect timing, 5:30, right when I wanted to end. But I wanted to know if you guys had any specific questions about pricing or pitching or sponsored post for yourselves.
Sort of strengthens my brain. I mean, I like the games, but I really love the science behind the games. There's a lot going on in here, and I want to keep it that way.
This is Patricia.
Hey, Patricia.
Hi, how are you doing? It's funny because I got something today. I always get these press release type things that have nothing to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started trying to turn it into something else, you know, by engaging them in conversation.
Absolutely.
And I got this one today that was asking me, did I have an interest in, you know, fitness, this, that, and the other, so that they could, you know, change up how they pitch to me. So I was like, oh, wow. You know, I don't know if they sent it to 1,000 people, if they sent it to me or what, but I was trying to figure out how to talk to them about it, you know. So I was like, oh, thank you for, you know, this, that, and the other. I am interested in these things with this slant. So, you know, please keep me in mind. Please let me know what it is that you're actually working on, because it's a PR company, that BH Impact, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I get these things that have nothing to do with really what I'm doing. So I was just trying to figure out, I was trying to use everything that I've heard you say to Sarah and everybody else to turn it into something else. And I don't know if it'll come out to anything. That's not really a question. But anyway, that's what I was.
Yeah, but that's exactly so in terms of pitching, like, you definitely want to start a relationship, and a relationship can just be the conversation. Hey, thank you so much for, and I send these to every single thing that I get in my inbox, I reply back to. You know, thank you guys so much for sending this. I'm not really interested in you know, vampire erotica right now in my life. However, if you have any children's books, or if you have any campaigns around parenting or whatever, then, you know, I just let them know that. And they, you know, sometimes they'll reply back like, well, is this interesting to you or whatever? And then other things kind of come out of that. So definitely keeping the conversation open, because, you know, a lot of people, they start off as PR people and they're building their list. And when they move from place to place to place, they keep those same contacts with them. So the higher up they are, you know, they want to have a toolkit filled with bloggers that they know are personable and, you know, nice and, you know, reply back and aren't nasty just because they send a press release, because that's their job. You know, their job is to send press release, and some people use them. So I think that's great, just responding back to them and telling them what you're interested in, so that, you know, that company in particular may not have campaigns right now. But even if they know someone who does, and they say, hey, keep your eye open, then they can reach out to you and connect you with that. I got an email last night for someone who said, I got your information from, and it was another PR person that I had conversations with, and I didn't know who it was. I went back and searched my email, and it was somebody that just sends me like free books all the time. So I'm like, oh, okay, this person actually passed my name on to someone else. So I think that's absolutely great to do that.
Okay. I have a question. Oops. For reviews versus sponsored posts, I get a lot of book reviews, and I try to do them in a timely fashion. Is there not a limit, but is there a time where it's too late to do it, or should I just go on and do them even after it's been weeks and weeks and weeks? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, because I kind of have that same issue sometimes.
Yeah.
What I do when I first decide to accept the book, because you have to remember, they have objectives. You know, they want to, maybe the book is new, and they want, you know, they want content created around it. Now, while you're not necessarily obligated to write in a certain time frame, you should definitely write within a certain time frame. And what I've started doing is just replying back to them. You know, is there a date that you need this by? Because it's hard when you don't have a date. Yeah. So I would say you would definitely want to do it even if it's much later, but you definitely want to start doing them earlier.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, you bring up another point about books. So, you know, in terms of sponsored posts and reviews and stuff like that, I'll do a book for free anytime. Like, I love books. So for me, the value is high enough for me to just do it because I love it. Like, I don't ask for pay. I don't ask for anything special. You know, if you send me a book and I like it, I'll write about it. If I don't like it, I won't write about it. And even if I don't write about it on my blog, this is another thing, and I make this clear. And even for reviews, you can ask this too. Even if I don't write about it on my blog, I could write I'll do a review on Amazon or something like that. So that's another thing that you can say back to someone if they reach out to you about, about doing a review or something, and they don't, we want to send you this. Well, yeah, I don't know if I have time, since it's not compensated, to do a sponsored post. I don't really do reviews, but I wouldn't mind trying it out and writing a review on Amazon.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh gosh, Sarah said, I wish I had time to read books without pictures.
I
Oh,
have
and
two
Joy's
questions.
working with her laptop on the counter. Wow.
I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one, thank you. The first one is, should we have a form letter for pictures, or is that too impersonal? And then the second question is, I don't go to a lot of blogging functions. I mean, functions where I see new people. How do I expand my network?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so in terms of the form letter, you definitely want to have a template so that you can, like with all your stats in it and things like that. But just like doing a cover letter for a job, you want to personalize it for each opportunity.
Okay.
And then some people actually have for Gmail, I think Joyce or Sarah, one of the women in our group talked about having a response like Google Gmail right now. What you can do if something comes in, there's like you can write a letter like Saida said it. It can say, thank you for reaching out to me about your product. It's not necessarily what I write about, but if you have anything XYZ, it's there and you can just, click it and it sends back to them like a typical response. And then the other question about expanding your network. So you definitely want to go to events. I mean, like meeting people, there's nothing like meeting people face to face. The other thing is joining a lot of the blogger networks and sites, so even Mom Blog Network, even if you're, and it looks like everybody here is a mom right now, but, even if you're not a mom, like those networks are really great. So what is it called? Mommy Bloggers Club or something like that, and Blogging Moms, just join that, because a lot of times what people will do is they'll say, permission to share, and it'll be like a simple review or something really easy, and you just kind of get that contact and you start with them. And actually that's how I started with Social Fabric. I was in Collective Bias. I was in one of those groups and somebody said something about them, and when they were first recruiting, and I was just looking around and kind of like, oh, okay, because I didn't know anybody. I wasn't in Philly Social Media Moms or any of that stuff yet. So, definitely if you're not getting out to conferences, you want to get out to at least 1 or 2 per year, because that's where the relationships are built, quite honestly, and people will look out for their people like a lot. But even without doing that is, building those relationships online. Other questions?
Oh, sorry. I have one more. Sorry. For PicMonkey, for editing our pictures, for every single post, every picture should be edited.
Yes, every single post.
Are you just talking about resizing, or like adding a little watermark, or just?
At least resizing. I mean, resizing is the bare minimum. I don't add a watermark to my pictures, and that's cool. But if you do add it, but I mean, no picture should go straight on your site, because then the pictures are all different sizes. And if you can just take a couple minutes to adjust the color if it's really bad, but if you don't know how to do all of that editing, that's totally fine. But if the pictures are uniform, they're nice and big, and they're the same, square 500 times 500 or whatever every single time, it's just going to make them look a lot better, even if they're not great pictures.
Okay.
And this should be a certain size.
She just said 500.
500 by 500.
500. What was the sizes? 500 by what?
Well, it's based on like the how big your content area is. So I make mine 500 times whatever, because I just do like whatever it gives me, but 500 so that it's the width of the margin of the content area.
Okay.
Joyce says since she takes a lot of iPhone pics, she uses Instacollage to get them watermarked fast. That's a good tip. So now the one thing to think about with with watermarking is you want to make sure it's not across the middle of your picture. I see a lot of bloggers do that, but it takes away from the purpose of the picture. And I know it's scary to think that somebody might take your picture and crop it out, but it just looks not good across the middle. And if a brand decides, hey, I'd love to use this picture in, on my Facebook page, or, and link to the blogger or something like this, they're not going to use it. So it could be like a potential not share if it has it right across the middle where the action is.
Any other suggestions for applications for iPhone users for pictures?
iPhone, I don't have an iPhone. I'm an Android gal. So does anybody know any? Sarah, are you an iPhone lady?
I am, but I don't use my iPhone photos for my blog. I pull my Nikon out for all of those. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah, I would say I know that I've seen some, and I might even have some on my Pinterest.
I think Mary had some ideas at one point.
Yeah, I might have some, but because I mean, iPhone, they do take some good pictures, but I just don't know how big they get, how big you're able to get them.
Hey, Brandy, it's Joyce. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How do we, I guess, as a force, really distinguish between what is a review and what is a sponsored post? Because I think when it comes to PR, even some PR people, even some marketing people, they think blogger equals free.
Mm-hmm.
I send you something, you write about it. And I find myself having to educate a lot of people about why they should even sponsor something, because they're probably thinking, well, if you don't do it, I can find five more other people who I just send them whatever or send them a press release and they will write it. So how can we as a group, be empowered to say, this is why you should pay me to do this work on your behalf?
So that's a good point. And so I know that I'm a bit of a waffle in a way when it comes to this, because there's two things. First of all, there are people who just want to review. Like, that's what they do. Like, they review for product, and then they take the product, and then they resell it. When a brand, and I talked about this at the top, a review, a real ethical, honest review of a product should not be paid. Like, if someone is asking you, we want your honest opinion about this product that we want to send to you, if you're going to be unbiased and provide, I mean, you, Joyce, are ethical. You went to school for journalism. Like, you understand it. But in the world, if someone is being paid to tout about a product, the assumption almost unanimously is that this is not a true, authentic view. So, that's the first thing. The second thing is, in terms of press releases, is some people use those. I mean, journalists, writers for for sites that do a lot of content, they need content. So those press releases actually are they're useful to them. They're useful to somebody. So for us as bloggers, what I would say is we need to determine our own worth and what we're willing to do for free or not for free. And then you will have to kind of educate the person that reaches out to you, so that maybe they won't reach out to you again because they only have press releases, or they only do free products, or they really don't have a budget for working with bloggers. Because in the marketing sphere, blogging is such a tiny piece of their budget every single year. I mean, you have no idea how much we fight for $50,000 kickoffs. Like, that's not a lot of money when you're thinking, oh, they're spending $500,000 this year. $50,000, to beg them for that to get bloggers, it's hard. So, I would say that we do have to determine that we have to say to them, if you want me to, share your brand messaging, then I need to be paid for it, like, as individuals. And some people are going to do it for free because, it's just fun for them. But distinguishing yourself on your own site as a professional will help you get to the point where no one is asking you. Well, old people will know not to ask you unless they're coming with the right amount of money. So As a force, I don't know that there's anything that we can do because the press releases are useful to some folks. Sarah said, talk about FTC and the ad versus promo and when it needs to be used. If you are compensated for a product and you, period, it needs to have the hashtag ad. Well, FTC wants it to be hashtag ad, but they have accepted promo. They have allowed our job to do shop. Spawn is actually, hashtag Spawn is actually not, hasn't been accepted by the FTC, even though some people are still doing it. But ad is really their preferred. And I don't know that they would go after any bloggers for not using it, but you know, they're just cracking down on people advertising and sharing content that they're being paid for without showing that it is.
Okay,
And
I have
it
an
is
example. On Monday, I went to Dutch Wonderland with my family. We were given 5 tickets through U.S. Family Guide something. It's a bloggery thing that I'm with. At the beginning of my day, I did a disclosure, the following tweets, this is sponsored, we're getting them for free, my opinions are mine, blah, blah, blah. For more, follow the hashtag, and I did DW Fun for Dutch Wonderland Fun. They didn't ask me to do the hashtag, I just wanted to just follow the analytics of what a hashtag would do for me for the day.
Right.
Should I have put in every tweet, every Instagram ad at the beginning, or because I did it at the front? I've heard it both ways, because people say, well, I don't want to have to scroll through your feed to figure out if what you're talking about is an ad and is it sponsored. And the fact that I just got the tickets for free, was that considered compensation, or is cash considered compensation?
Yes, so the tickets are considered compensation. Now, one of our clients that we have is a huge client, and their legal team worked on it. They determined that if you put a tweet at the beginning of your day saying, I am working with XYZ, I received complimentary tickets, I will be tweeting about it throughout the day. Their legal team, and this is a huge multinational company, they determined that that was adequate. So, you know, just doing that once per day is fine.
Okay. 'Cause I didn't want to be bombarding my people with ad. It just...
I know.
It's authentic,
too much.
but it's not, and I'm just like, oh, it's just, ugh.
It's too much, and I think that the FCC is not taking into consideration that people are a lot smarter than they make them out to be. Like, if I'm writing about, you know, bacon, you know, like, check out this great deal on bacon. Obviously, I mean, chances are it's going to be an ad. Like, you know, like most of these things are that we see nowadays are ads. So I don't know why they're so crazy about it, but yeah, the FCC is real serious about it. Oh, tickets, yes. Janine, our lawyer, said tickets are compensation and income. According to the IRS, the value must be declared. That's absolutely correct. So, you know, even if you're doing reviews, you know, you need to keep value of what you're doing and pay taxes on that at the end of the year.
So, question, just another point of clarification. The hashtag ad, like I wrote a sponsored post today. Because I'm in the Blogger network, I have like a category for sponsored posts so that they don't show up, you know, where the ads are. So my question really is, when I syndicate that on Facebook, I know that I'm going to syndicate and put hashtag ad on Twitter, but I'm also going to put hashtag ad on Facebook as well when I talk about it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, another thing with the FTC, it was determined for Facebook that it doesn't have to be, I think this was before the hashtag thing came out, it didn't have to be hashtag ad, it could just be ad :
Okay.
Review, that would be a good one, but what we found is that any of these suggested hashtags has to be approved by the FTC. So for instance, you know, with CB, they had to get hashtag shop approved.
Now with this post that it just went up 2 or 3 hours ago. In the Pinterest section, I'm able to determine what I want pinned and what I want it to be set, what I want it to say. Like I wrote Dutch Wonderland, Lancaster, PA, discount code, and then I put hashtag ad, hashtag promo because I didn't know what else to do. Because it's going to be going around Pinterest, hopefully, was it good to do that? Was it not good to do that? Too much, too little? Explain. Rashay, quit muting Brandy.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, Rashay, I don't know what she's doing. So we actually just had a meeting about this yesterday, and it was like, I mean, it was a hardcore meeting in terms of, you know, when other people syndicate our stuff, you know, so like if you come from my website or you repin it on Pinterest, it's not going to have that ad necessarily because they aren't being paid to syndicate it. You are. So on Pinterest, like it's great that you did it because it was your work and you were compensated for it. But if other people, you know, retweet it and they take it out, then, you know, that's not on you. But one thing that we learned was that for your photos on in your blog posts that are sponsored, it should have that hashtag ad in your photo tags. So that it's,
I think
you
I
know,
put Spawn. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I believe Spawn was actually accepted by the FTC. I know ad was, I think Spawn was, I'm not sure, but I believe it was. So as long, but you have to have that in your pictures as well. Yeah, Joyce says she hadn't heard about the photo tags. Yeah, because, you know, like with Pinterest or, you know, if it gets turned around, if, you know, somebody searches it on Google, it's paid content.
So where exactly does that go? Does that go in the alt text, or where does that go?
Yeah, you can put that in the alt text for your photo.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Joyce is right. Another thing to charge for. So when I talked about reporting, you know, I would say that all of that, you know, adding the links in and, you know, no follow, making all your links no follow. And, oh, that's the other thing I meant to mention.
Yeah.
You know, when you do a blog post, all of your links, you know, to the client or to the brand should be no follow, because Google doesn't look favorably upon links that are for follow, because that means like they're paying for influence. So, you know, if I search for shoes, Zappos is probably like number 1 or 2, but that's organic. People are searching for that organic, and, you know, their site is about shoes, and they are, you know, a master of shoes. But if Zappos decided to pay, you know, 1 million people $5 to put links in their post about cheeseburgers, and all of a sudden when people search cheeseburgers, they go to Zappos shoes, that's unethical. So all of your, you know, all of your links should be no follow. And if you work with a client, you know, an ethical client, 95% of the time, they will ask you to make your links no follow. So you should just do it. Yeah. Other questions? It's a lot. So, I mean, do you guys have an idea? Yes, Joyce said I've had clients also ask for certain keywords to be linked. Yeah, and that is actually not unethical. They can ask for that. However, those links should be no follow. So, I mean, basically what they're doing is they're helping themselves with SEO, and it kind of helps you too, you know, but they should be no follow. And a good client will check your links actually, and if there is a link that's not no follow, you know, they'll come back and say, hey, I noticed this link wasn't no follow. Could you, you know, check it out for me? Shutterfly is like one of the best. I mean, like Shutterfly, they have an amazing SEO team, and you know they're on it. Like I missed one link and I kept missing it. and they were they were very helpful, and somebody was on the site with me and everything, helping to make sure that link was no follow.
Now, when you have a no follow link, can the person click on it and it will go to the website?
It will.
But
You're
it just won't
basically
show up in Google Land.
right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because if I wanted to link over to the Dutch Wonderland site, which I probably need to go back and fix a couple of those links, I can't remember. I think I need to make them no follow.
Yes, you need
because
to.
I want to show them the information, because it was like this whole printout of menus, and I didn't want to put that in the post. That's kind of silly. So to put it over
you
and then
definitely want to make those no follow, and then if if you guys would have went without getting free tickets, then and you decided, oh, this is awesome, I want to write about it, then those links could be follow links because you're organically creating content for it.
And how do you make them no follow? I know it's like a : / no follow, and where does it go? You don't have to say it now, but we can put it up somewhere.
Yeah, I'll put it in the community. It's I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's like, it's a tag that you put at the beginning and you close it at the end. And there is a plugin, but sometimes does not work. So I always do the plugin and then check the code to make sure, the tag is in there.
Okay.
Or there's also an extension, I believe, on Chrome that you can add in.
Do these no follow things go before March? Because didn't all this fun stuff start in March?
Yeah, no follow. So the FTC stuff kind of started in March. The no follow stuff was started sometime last year, and it was just, honestly, for a long time I just ignored it because I was like, what? Then eventually I kind of sank in. Okay, I need to start doing this because what Google could do if you're being paid and you have a bunch of follow links to sites and they determine that these are, and how are they determining? With bots, and they determine that these links are paid for, then they'll knock your page rank down to 0. And what I do, I get so nervous, I make just most of my links no follow, if I'm writing about a brand, because it's like, if I'm sending to my friends or something like that, that's one thing. But if I'm writing about a brand, I typically just do it no follow because I don't want the bots making a mistake.
So where do you actually see the no follow stuff? I just think I don't know where that is.
Yes, so it is, if you go into your HTML, like where you can read it under HTML, you're on, so you would add it in, like before, like you would add the tag in before the link. So it's just, I think it's, let me just Google and see if I can, it's just a little, like, what is the no follow tag? Oh, Joyce said affiliate links also, and yes, that is absolutely correct. Oh, that's what it's rel no follow. So you would just add, let me just copy this. So here's an example.
So I'm sorry, affiliate links, like I use Amazon affiliates. I need to go back and make sure all of those are no follow as well.
Yes. Because Amazon is the brand.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is an example in the sidebar here. So, it's rel no follow. You just add it in there. But if you try, the, the plugin, and then you check it, just, try it and then check to see if it worked. And if it did, you'll see the rel equals no follow.
Okay. I have skim links installed on my blog. Good, bad, indifferent. Are they no follow? Help.
No skim links. I don't know too much about. I know for Social Fabric, we don't allow them in posts, in sponsored posts, obviously, because the brand is paying for that post. So I don't know much about them. I know some people have problems turning them off per post. So that's anything that's hard to turn off, like that's automatic, is always a little nerve-wracking to me. But
It's starting to taste funny.
do you make money from it?
It depends. I've gotten like $10 in 6 months, so I'm just like, what did I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I picked it up at Blog Her 12 and installed it in like September, and I don't refer to a lot. And then I did the Skimlink Words. That's more what I get because I don't refer to a lot of brands or websites. I just don't.
Yeah.
Unless it's sponsored or something.
Yeah.
It's just not what I do. So I don't know. I really need to analyze that, and I'm probably going to cash out and just be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you'll make a lot more. I mean, and it depends. So some people that, hold on one second. Yeah, I think that some people, if you are doing a lot of reviews or, deals or coupons, and people are coming to your site and their goal is to click off, you want them to come in and click on those links, then you'll make a lot more money from it. But like your blog is a blog that people aren't really trying to click off of. They're trying to read and find out, okay, how do I do this? And they're, referring back to it and, scrolling back up. So I mean, it makes sense that you wouldn't make that much from it. And sponsored posts would probably be your sweet spot just because of the nature of your content.
I'm hoping.
All right, any other questions, y'all? No? All right.
Right now.
Oh, Rashay, what did you say?
I'm saying not right now. Sorry.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm going to take a picture really fast. So you guys hold on for 1 second. I'm going to put my camera up so nobody, my fake picture up so nobody sees me taking a picture. Hold on 1 second.
There.
Oh, 1 second, y'all. My camera was dirty. All right, guys. We're good to go. Thank you so much. I hope y'all learned something.
Definitely,
And so
always do.
the links, I will put them in the in our group. I'm not going to say who's who. I'm just going to put the link.